When you're going about completing a payment application in the online service, you actually want to start with the continuation sheet first before you begin your G702 payment application. To complete the G703, make sure you've created a project and added your project team under the Projects tab in the online service. Then create a new document draft using the G703 template. If you have any previous G703s under this project, be sure to import your data from the most recent G703 so your line items will auto-populate. Start in the top right corner by designating the day which you are submitting the payment application in the Application Date section, and the last day of the pay period for which you're applying in the Period 2 section. You can also enter the architect's project number if you have that information. Then you'll use the rows to break down your contract sum into a series of values. Use the A, B, and C columns to identify the portions of the project and their scheduled values. This breakdown may be by sections of the work or by subcontractors and should remain consistent throughout the project. If you use CSI master format, you can enter the item number in column A, or you can use a traditional numeric list. Enter a brief description of the work in column B and the scheduled value for that item in column C. The sum of the scheduled values should equal your contract sum to date. Columns D and E break down what you've completed in previous pay periods versus what you've completed this pay period. In column D, enter the amount of completed work covered by previous applications. If you've imported data from your previous G703, this column will auto-populate. Column E, then, should be the amount of work you've completed for this pay period. Column F accounts for materials you've purchased and may have stored on-site, but haven't incorporated into the project yet. As you incorporate your stored materials into your project, you'll manually take the value of material incorporated out of column F and into column E. Columns G and H are automatically calculated in the online service and display the total value of work completed and materials stored to date, the percentage of the total scheduled value that has been accounted for, and how much of the scheduled value remains left to be completed. You should only complete column I if your construction contract permits a variable retainage rate on a line-by-line basis. So if one or more portions of work call for a different retainage rate than the rest. If you're working with a fixed retainage rate, where a constant percentage is withheld from the overall contract amount, leave this column blank. You'll have a chance to account for fixed retainage later when you complete the G702. Save your document and return to your project in the Projects tab where you can get started on the accompanying G702.